The poll results are in, and we discuss what our Toy Habits community wants to see as the next MOTU Origins crossover after the ThunderCats right now on Toy Habits Live.
And before we go live, smash that like button, turn on notifications, and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss a beat.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Toy Habits. I'm Michael.
And I'm the Toy Sorceress. And you're watching Toy Habits Live. How's it going, Michael? I actually got to hear the music this time. That was awesome.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. I think because your internet's all good. Woohoo, yay.
Maybe.
I'm so glad that you did, because it's jamming tunes for
it
Friday
is. It
night.
jazzes you up for the show. I have to always just pretend it in my head.
I know, you're just like, no, but I'm good. It's Friday. We're here. We're with our lovely community, which is awesome. How are you?
I'm doing good. It is like a bazillion degrees, so I haven't slept much. So if I'm a little out of it today, I apologize. Beforehand. It was like 117, something like that today.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Nuts.
It's crazy.
Nuts.
So. There's no global warming though, right?
No. Well, at least you can hop in the pool, and you probably don't have to heat it, because it's probably like 90 with this heat.
Yeah, I haven't heated it all summer. I've just been jumping in.
That's so good. And I've experienced that pool, and without the heat, it's amazing.
Gorgeous, right? It's great. So yeah, I jumped in yesterday. Today I didn't get the chance to, but it's been crazy weather. But I hope if any of you are in the Southern California area that you're staying cool, enjoy something frosty and cold, and just stay indoors because it's brutal outside right now.
Yes.
But let's go ahead and say hi to the chat and see who's all here, because we have a really fun show tonight. So let's check in. We got crew member Frankie Rivera in the house. We got Hal Jordan here. Crew member Carnage 717 is joining us. We have Joshua Robbins in the house. Mint with Card, awesome crew member. Good to see you. It is Toy Habits time, Mint. That's awesome. It is our crew member Ryan Cole joining us. Crew member Rob 2023. How's it going, Rob? Say hi to mom. And we are to give a big shout out to Ryan Cole, who gifted amazing another 10 Toy Habits memberships. So 10 of you down in the chat are going to be randomly selected, and we'll get memberships, which is awesome. And also, Ryan, you have been a member for a whopping 17 months. So congratulations. That is awesome. That is totally awesome. We got on our U83, Black Phoenix 77 is here. Kevin Florence is also joining us. We got Jaden, Ben here, Toy Monkeys Customs. Nunya Biz is joining us. Will with one L. That's funny. Dave Chanelli is also here. We got crew member Giraffe joining us. Eric Valdez. Aaron is in the house. How's it going, Aaron? Good to see you. Lord Hoagie is here. We have Daniel Hearn with a $2 super chat. Good to see you. Yeah, go for it.
Zorana is warm in all the right places, and I'm just going to leave it right there. Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate it.
I had the Baroness calling me, and I'm like, I'm on the air, Baroness.
Doesn't she know?
She should know. It's Toy Habits time. It's Friday night.
Just pick up the phone and be like, tune in.
I know. That's why I paused for a second. And then also we have Legend Odinson joining us. Good to see everybody. Today is going to be a really fun show, because I wanted to give a little backstory as to why we're doing this episode. And before we do, a big hello to crew member Neil Hunter Hyde and Joshua Robbins. Good to see both of you guys. You guys are awesome crew members, and we are happy that you're here. So while we were at SDCC, and I think I mentioned this previously, right? We were over at the Mattel booth, and I was chatting with one of the designers and one of the marketing people. And they were super nice. And they're like, yeah, we watch you guys all the time. We love your channel. And the marketing person like flat out just asked me, so what do you think a good next crossover should be after the ThunderCats one? And I was just like, that's a really great question. And I wanted to give it some good thought because I was actually touched that they were like asking like our opinion, right? And I said, there's it needs to be something that's going to appeal to obviously the MOTU fans. ThunderCats was a perfect crossover because that's got that common fan base between the both lines. It has like a kind of a similar theme in terms of kind of the muscular characters. But I said, you know what? In order for this to be a successful exercise, we really should poll the fans, right, and see what they think. So they're like, well, do an episode on it, do an article, and they're like, we'll be watching. And so Mattel's watching right now, guys. They'll be seeing this, and hopefully, maybe we can influence the next crossover line. Who knows? If we give them some good ideas, you never know what's going to happen in the future. So that's exciting, Michael, right?
Yeah, it's super exciting, and it's great to hear that Mattel is listening to fans, and if in any way we could help choose or just move the next crossover along the way, I think that's pretty cool, because a lot of people, I was going through the comments through Instagram and also the YouTube community page when you'd posted that article, and there was a lot of great ideas in there.
Yeah. So hi, Rob's mom. She's loving the Godzilla.
Miss Dorothy, hello, good evening, Rob's mom. Very nice.
Hi, Dorothy. How are you doing?
Dorothy's such a timeless name. I love that name.
I know, it's great. It is great. MOTU and Star Wars, that's very cool. MOTU and Spaceballs. Spaceballs. That's hilarious. I find myself randomly quoting that movie. I don't know why. It's just
that's funny.
One of those timeless ones. Power Rangers and MOTU, that's a good one. Black Star, Dragon Ball Z. Well, you guys all have amazing ideas. And as a matter of fact, for all of you junkies and addicts out there, right after this stream, we're going to have an after party live stream, private live stream for the junkies and addicts right after this. And we want to hear from all of you. And we're going to discuss your crossover ideas because we think you guys are amazing. But I came up with kind of three big ones because we were throwing this out for the last couple episodes. And it's amazing what the poll results came back at. So we took a look at Street Fighter, DC, and X-Men. But before we do that, let's say hi to the Toy Habits crew. I'm like diving in already.
No. That's totally fine. We're gonna say hello to our junkies and addicts personally, but hello to all the Toy Habits crew who watches us and interacts with us on a weekly basis here or just everywhere we are. We really appreciate you, and it's so much fun doing this with everybody. So that's and the Baron finally.
Baroness, I gave you a shout out, and I was like, "What's the Baroness doing, calling me while we're going live?" So. I had to have a fun moment with that. So we had some really cool ideas here, and so we took a look at like I said, X-Men, DC, and Street Fighter. Now the interesting thing is, two of those options we've seen with some Funko figures, and I do have some examples here that we'll go over. And with the other one, we had some amazing custom art that was done by a very talented artist. And that's called the Neon Horror is their Instagram page.
Awesome.
So let's just dive into this, Michael.
Yeah. So you're mentioning the poll. So we have the poll results. Yeah. Why don't you walk us through the results?
Okay, I may need my glasses for this.
Oh, I can.
Okay, so we had roughly no, that's fine. I can see the numbers. So a little over 500 people who were polled, and it looks like 388 or so. Actually, a huge percentage is that 64% went for DC. I was really surprised that was the number. X-Men got 15%. Street Fighter only got 8%, and then other got 13%. So there's a strong, response to that. I mean, are you surprised at that answer?
Um, I guess out of all of these, I actually like my bet would have been X-Men for a crossover versus
Mhm.
DC, but given like how huge DC is as well, and I think looking at
Yeah,
some of the concepts, it lends itself very well to a MOTU crossover. So yeah, I'm surprised,
absolutely.
yes, on one hand, but no on the other hand. So yeah, I think we've seen
Yeah.
some DC like DC figures from Mattel. I forget when this was, but they had some Toys R Us exclusive 2 packs with some like
Mhm.
repainted Masters of the Universe Classics characters and some superheroes. So it's been
It did.
done, but not in this scale.
Not in this scale. And so the cool thing is, well, it has been done on this scale by Funko, and
Oh,
they
right,
were
right.
actually sold at Target, and I do have some samples of those. So there was a line called Primal Age, and they were DC characters, a very short-lived line. But as you can see, I have here is Superman in that 5.5 squat scale, wearing a very cool like cross armor on his chest. He has kind of like a tattered cape and a mace, spiked mace for his hand. So here's a really cool example, but one that I think really shows this well is Green Lantern, and this is Green Lantern
Ooh.
as sort of like a man at arms because he's got the he's got like a knee guard here and a shoulder guard on that side, and some very cool accessories. This little his like lantern is on a chain around his neck, which is hilarious. And he has chest armor and an axe and all this kind of stuff. So these have been done, and in that 5.5 scale. But when these came out back in the day, and I hate to be rough with them, but I think some of them used to have a little bit of issues with their construction. I heard stories about legs breaking off. Here's Batman in that same scale. Again, with some wearing like kind of He-Man like chest armor. He's got a cool shield. It's got a bat on there and a sword. And again, like kind of a tattered cape and wearing a loincloth. So another really great example. And then the final example I want to show for that is the Flash. And again, he's got this little like crown on his head and arm bracers and sort of some chest armor as well with his exposed muscular arms in that scale. So this really gives you a great idea of taking the DC characters and really crossing them over to MOTU, right? Because it's not like we're just doing. My second example here is Street Fighter, which was also done by Funko. This is from the Savage World line in that 5.5 scale, but this is exactly still Blanca, right? This looks exactly like Blanca. He's not Motuized, but he is in that muscular 5.5 scale, as well as the other prop I had to show was Ryu in that 5.5 scale, again by Funko, done, in just that Motu style, but it's not a crossover. It's really like what the figure is, which is kind of what we're saying we want to see for ThunderCats, right? We want to see actual ThunderCats in this kind of scale.
Yes.
So that gives everybody an idea of what the possibilities are. Now, these were done, I don't know, maybe like 5, 6, 7 years ago, something like that. And the possibilities are endless because there's so many characters in the DC universe that you could see them having like a lot of fun with. And of course, the articulation is going to be much better. The accessories will be much better. It'll have, probably just better armor parts and stuff like that because they've been killing it with Turtles of Grayskull.
Yeah. And hopefully better construction, and
Yeah.
hopefully yours didn't break when some of them knocked over, but Gray's kernels did.
These have been on my desk. I only got them like a week or two ago, so they haven't broke yet. But yeah, you got to be very careful with these. I mean,
Totally.
what do you think? Like
Yeah, yeah, I think there's so much runway with whatever they do with any crossover, and just looking at all
mhm.
these concepts, and also just thinking about other things just other than the 3 that they had here, and
Oh yeah.
looking at just a lot of customs. I've been looking at a lot of customs that either Mr. Home Arcade made or has
Mhm.
done, and this 5.5 point muscular scale actually works really well with a lot of toy lines.
It does, because I also have Conan, which is what was just released by Super 7, and he looks amazing in this scale, right? With his little actual furry loincloth and everything, both his war paint version and the regular version. I got both. But there's so much you can do at this scale. I mean, it's been done by Remco with the Warrior Beast line, and so many knockoff lines that were done in the 80s.
Yeah.
That it was a very popular form factor. As a matter of fact, we got Legends of Dragonor that are being wildly successful in that form factor with all brand new characters of their own, which make it very exciting, right? But to see it crossed over with a line that we all know, that we love, it's a franchise that everybody's aware with. You can have a lot of fun
Yeah.
doing, bring them into the MOTU world.
Yeah.
I
And
love those sketches there too by Neon Horror of
yeah,
the X-Men. Those are great.
we'll see those in a sec. But
Yeah.
yeah, it looks like, just like from the poll, it looks like there's, like, at least in our community, there's a large affinity towards DC superpowers over the X-Men and Street Fighter, although they might share. I think they're forced to pick one, right? And so if you're forced to pick one, that's the one that rose to the top.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
absolutely.
but those these concepts are super cool. So yeah, we're gonna actually dive in reverse order of how they play out, and maybe this will maybe seeing some concepts will change people's minds.
Yeah,
so,
well, they were in the article, so I was hoping it would inspire people. And this is hilarious, right?
It's pretty funny. Yeah,
So
it's
you got
funny
Professor X.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like, okay, the leader of the of the X-Men mashed up with the leader of the heroic warriors. It's kind of funny.
So poor He-Man's now relegated to a wheelchair chair.
Yeah.
and is apparently bald now. So
He's
there's
bald?
Professor Man. Just like Professor X.
Yeah, I love the Battle Cat looking wheelchair.
Oh yeah.
So it's like it's his ride, right? You can't have a wheelchair without it having to look like Battle Cat.
Absolutely. I thought this was so creative. And Neon Horror dubs these mutants of the universe. And this is just so funny.
Yeah.
MOTU, Golden Girls.
Yeah. Anything would work. I mean, wouldn't you love to see Sophia as a little, like, 5.5?
Yeah, that would be great.
Blanche, Dorothy, whoever. It'd be so fun.
It would be fun. Dorothy, I can see as Evil Lynn.
Yes. I love that.
I don't know why that one works, but
it does.
Yeah, Zodak would have been a good one for Professor X, because he usually sits in a chair anyway.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. That's very true.
Yeah,
that's a good one. Get his throne.
And check out this man at arms, the man at eye as Cyclops.
I like that. Yeah, definitely. Man at Arms's helmet definitely lends itself to a version of Cyclops, and also the colors do too, because he's typically in yellow armor, but he's in a mustard yellow armor in this version, because that's what Cyclops's look is like, with dark blue pants and his. Oh yeah, they actually included his turtleneck too, which is great.
Yeah, he looks awesome. These are really great creative crossover illustrations of the characters.
Yeah.
Orko.
Picture it, Eternia 2026, whatever.
Exactly. And they're all sitting around having cheesecake. So we have Tila as Jean Grey. So Jean Law, I guess, in this case.
Yeah, so these are interesting, because this is getting back to the mashup version, and it's not X-Men as MOTU figures. It's the of characters, which the Turtles of Grayskull does really well. I think out of all of the ones that, or at least of these three that are here, I think this one lends itself better to more of a mashup, like the like the Masters of the WW Universe, Turtles of Grayskull. Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. So these were super creative. One of my favorites is coming up down below, but it's Beast Man as Beast, which is very cool. Oh, and then also Ram Man, but we'll get to that down there. Ram Man's great. I really
Yeah.
like him as Juggernaut.
Yes. That was a perfect one too. Like, yeah, Juggernaut and
Yeah.
Ram Man, like that's the perfect pairing, especially too, like with the orange armor, it kind of
Yeah.
harkens back to that mini comic look too.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So he looks great. Like, and he's already got kind of that armored head look, so it's perfect. Absolutely
Yeah.
perfect for him. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the Storm Cirrus, she's
Yes.
awesome. That's very cool.
That was a very clever one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
those two went really, really well together.
It's funny when you see these amazing, just super creative illustrations that Neon Horror did, and I'm surprised that X-Men didn't get like a higher rating on the poll. But it's funny because we put the poll on top, so people probably voted up there, and then they started scrolling down and seeing these. It's like, oh, can I change my vote?
Yeah, I guess too, like you have to have an affinity for them too. Like
Yeah.
I've watched the X-Men movies, but I'm not an X-Men like fanatic or
Yeah.
collector. And so
Yeah.
although these look great, I would not go like and buy these off the shelf.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. And I to the point, just doing the research for this article, liked the idea of superpowers as MOTU so much that I went and bought these 4 figures after doing this. And I'm like,
Oh
well,
my
I
gosh,
could use
that's
them
really
as
cool.
props anyway. They were
Oh,
pretty inexpensive, but they were just so cool. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna pick them
yeah,
up.
no, totally. That was such a good idea.
Yeah, I'm like,
That was an
it's
awesome
research.
idea. Yes. Oh, we got the baddies coming. The
Mhm.
leaders.
What do you think of these two guys?
So Magneto is actually my favorite uh X-Men, whatever.
Mhm.
But yeah, Skeletor and Magneto were a great mashup. Very
Mhm.
easy to do, right? All you have to do is like swap out some armor and stick a skull head in Magneto's helmet.
Exactly.
But no, I
Pretty,
think that was great.
yeah. Yeah, he looks really great. And then the Hordak op Alice, I guess,
Or
which is
Decalaf.
yeah, I can't even get that one out. So, but he looks really cool.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, all of this stuff. It's like all the
Yeah.
tubes and just the design of the armor, like it's still integrated that horde symbol. There's also an A on there as well.
Mhm.
So it's integrating both of the themes very, very well. And the colors are cool.
Yeah. Yeah, the colors look great. Colors look great. These are just wonderful ideas.
Yes.
Um,
Oh, here's your fave. Man Beast.
yeah, 'cause, I mean, he just looks so great as like Beast, right? Because he's already Beast Man, so he just like lends himself to like, well, duh. And he just needs a little pair of glasses and come with a white trench coat, and that'd be
Yes.
cool.
Oh my gosh, that would be great.
Yeah, a
Deluxe
couple
Man.
beakers. Yeah,
I would love that. Yeah,
yeah.
this is a perfect combination
Hmm.
for Beastman. I couldn't imagine any other X-Men character that could
Yeah,
fit Beastman.
exactly, exactly. He looks perfect there. I would love to see some Remco characters. That would be great. And then we have Evil Dark Home.
Yeah, so yeah, this would be gosh, what the heck is her name? Shoot, I just blanked on it. But yes, she'd be awesome. It'll somebody in the chat. Yeah, Mystique, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, she would make a great Evil Lynn mashup.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think too because she can morph into things and
Yeah.
yeah, Evil Lynn is a evil sorceress, so that's very fitting.
Absolutely. That would be really cool.
Yeah,
Transformers and MOTU. I don't know. That one's hard because they're such full-on robots.
yeah.
How do you like make them more savage? Right?
Could do it with the vehicles, maybe if
Yeah.
they actually made
Yeah, that's
vehicles.
true. You can make
But
vehicles out of them. Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I don't see the figures being
Mhm.
being a crossover at all. If they did, like that would be a fit of engineering in and of itself, because
Oh, I know.
The GI Joe Transformers crossovers, they're so seamless when they're in alternate mode that sometimes you can't tell if it's a crossover or not. You know, there's little telltale
Yeah.
signs. They're getting really good, like especially the Triple T is
Oh my god.
amazing.
It looks great. I think this is interesting. So Kevin Florence says Sabretooth and Beastman would make more
Oh,
sense since they're
yeah,
both villains. I totally agree with you. That's a really good point.
that's a
And
good.
Frankie Rivera, this is hilarious. Spider-Man and Venom is too bad.
Oh my gosh, that would be cool.
That would
See,
be cool.
Rob, I knew his ears would perk up.
I
I
knew
heard
that
your
too. Dorothy, is Rob's ears perking up?
yes. Uh,
Uh,
that's cool. Yeah, so I think this is it for the X-Men crossovers.
mhm.
Didn't get a lot of love, but I think it got more than Street Fighter did.
It
By
did for some reason. Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
I
By a
mean,
little bit.
yeah, I mean, I remember dumping so many quarters into the Street Fighter video game. I was like, oh my god.
I do have the arcade one-up game at my house. When you come, you can play.
Oh my, we got to
Sounds
play
cool.
against each other. Come on,
Oh my
we got to
god.
have like
Who's your favorite character?
we need a
Yeah.
tournament. I like Guile.
Oh, cool. I like Ryu, so then
All
that's
right,
perfect.
we don't have to fight over
Guile's
characters.
my second favorite. Like if you go in
Okay,
pecking order.
all
I
right.
used to play with the Baroness all the time, and she was always Ken. So
Oh, interesting. Huh.
yeah.
Right, yeah, that's a fun one.
Yeah, total tournament, you're on.
All right.
I kick butt at this game.
I haven't played in it forever, so you probably will. But
I probably
this is
would.
was this the figure that you were showing earlier?
Yep. So these are you're already in that 5.5 scale. They look great though. I mean,
Yeah,
they're perfect. Like for the scale, they totally lend themselves to that squat, 5.5 inch muscular figures. They're absolutely perfect doing them this way. But I could see these more as just like the actual characters. And I'm sure there's a creative way to motuize them, which
yeah,
would be pretty fun. But they look great, like kind of representing their own line. So, and then again, these were by Funko. So, very you got to be very careful with. The worst offenders were the ThunderCats, Panthro in particular for broken legs.
oh
That
no.
one's just sometimes they were broken in the packaging, like in the bubble.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, in the
that was
bubble?
kind of
Jeez, they didn't
in the
even
bubble.
survive
I would
it.
see like
Oh my
most of the Panthros had broken legs in the bubble.
god. Jeez.
I remember seeing them at GameStop when they came out, and I was like, "Oh, they don't have Panthro yet." And I'd go to grab them, like broken leg, broken leg. Like there's a couple on the peg. It was impossible to find one
Oh
intact.
no. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I
That
ended
sucks.
up like buying a couple, and then I sold them off, and then I missed them, and I bought the whole set on eBay, like really cheap, like a year or two later. So I've got all of them. They're just not on display right now.
Yeah. All right. That is
Yeah.
cool. We saw those live. Yeah, M Bison and Chun Li would be awesome. Yeah, because
Mhm.
um, especially the cartoon collection mold, maybe because they'd stand a
Yeah.
little bit taller. I think would make a great
Mhm.
like female buck for this line.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can see her easily being crossed over with Tila
Yeah,
or
yeah,
Evil, either one.
yeah,
So that one would be really cool. Yep.
yeah,
And then I mean, you could see maybe Skeletor as M Bison, like in his little outfit and stuff,
yeah.
or He-Man as Ryu. Like you could take the characters or the character traits from Street Fighter and put them onto Motu characters because could you imagine Beastman being Blanca? That could
Yeah, yeah.
easily be done, right?
Oh,
So those character traits onto the Motu figures as Street Fighter could be a way to kind of match them up if you
Chun
wanted to
Li.
do that. Right?
I love that.
Yeah, Chun
Oh,
Lin.
totally. So I guess this begs the question: like, would this fall under a strict like I want Street Fighter in Motu form or a mashup of characters? What do you think?
And
Like what I guess what's the decision point or like what's the deciding factor whether it's a mashup or just like a straight translation?
so with the line that is so loved by fans like ThunderCats, where the characters are so iconic, and you just really want to see them in like this form factor, something like that. And I think you kind of ask the fan base, and the overwhelming response we were getting was, "Don't mash them up, make them 5.5 scale, make them cool. We would love to just see them in Origin style." I think that's really shows, I guess Mattel, hey, let's do Thundercats that way. But with
Yeah.
other lines like DC and Street Fighter, you can see having fun with the characters and kind of mashing them up with bringing in characters from those licenses, and then mashing up the traits into MOTU characters, or vice versa with like DC and making them more MOTUized. Because we have a ton of figures for those in all different form factors, but getting to have a little fun with them and in the scale, I think makes it more interesting. I don't
Yeah.
know, like what do you think?
I would yeah, I think for Thundercats, I'm good with a translation into just a 5.5 point muscly,
Hmm.
cat. But I think for these, like, I don't have an affinity towards them, so I'd love for them to be more playful. Like, I'd be fine
Exactly.
if they mash them up, because I guess if you recall, like, I wasn't super into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles when the
Yeah.
crossovers came out, and then I was like, holy crap, they're doing an
Yeah.
amazing job, and I like fell in love with these crossovers because they were so creative.
Exactly. So, and because we have the opportunity to own TMNT in that kind of muscular form factor already, there's so many toys of it that way already out there on the market that mashing them up was another fun, exciting way to express those characters and bring them into this line. So I think that absolutely made sense. But like with Thundercats, we've had the original figures from LGN. We've had our obviously amazing Ultimates figures of those, and then just the very short line that hardly anyone bought from Funko because they broke. But had those been, maybe the head sculpts needed to be a little bit better, but had they not been so fragile and maybe a little bit better articulated, I think that would have been a great line that would have took off, right,
Yeah,
for Thundercats and highly successful. But because they weren't, the line died, and I think people have been clamoring to get Thundercats just in that form factor.
totally. I want to plus in a comment from our
Yeah.
fantastic friend Carlos, who runs that amazing Motu Origins and uh, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover Facebook group that you're probably a member of already. But fun fact, Ken
Mhm.
Master's name and He-Man look was a jab to Mattel after I guess they sent them a cease and desist uh, for the trademark just Ken due to their Barbie character. Funny. I love that.
That's
Thank,
funny.
thank you, Carlos, for that tidbit of history. So yes,
That is great.
awesome. Um, very cool.
I love that.
Why no New Adventures Love in 5.5? Ah, good question. I think they have to get through a whole bunch more stuff before they dive into New Adventures. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, but we have one. Don't forget that we got with the 40th anniversary line, which
Yeah,
she's really cool. I love this He-Man. I think it looks great, and I would love for them to get some more figures into the Origins line. Let's go
yeah,
for it.
yeah,
Yeah, bring them to us. We need some more love for them, but and
yeah.
and they're perfect in this scale,
Yes,
right?
yes, they is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to see them because uh, I just want them to make all of the Masters of the Universe figures, 2000X
Yeah,
especially, and not the kind of
absolutely.
silly way that they've done 2000X up to date in the Origins line. I want like true 2000X.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right, so that was Street Fighter, and so here is the winner. So DC Superpowers. Yeah, and geez, these look amazing. So like I'm
Mhm,
familiar with Superpowers characters, but not too much. But
mhm.
from all the things that like you've been posting about DC and the Superpowers, the from McFarlane and stuff, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, I know who that character is now.
Yeah. Yeah, you get to know them, and because a lot of us obviously were children of the '80s. We grew up with superpowers. For me, it was like my first action figure ever. was Aquaman, which I still have, and you guys all know the story of Aquaman. But their superpowers is super special to me. Like I love that toy line. It's always going to be have a special place in my heart. And to get to see them, translated into MOTU form is just so much fun. So like, I mean, I picked these up for like about $10 a piece. They're really inexpensive. But looking at what they already did for Primal Age with the few characters they released, and even a few beasts, I mean, you can see that this could be such a fun line.
Oh my god, it totally
Yeah.
could. Like this would probably get me into DC a little if they actually did this.
There you go.
I need something.
Yeah, something to push you over there. But the form factor lends itself well. The characters have really cool, bright colors. You can see easily translating, chest armor and loincloths and like battle axes and shields and all that kind of MOTU stuff onto these characters. And then, maybe blending in Superman, like He-Man with a cape. And like, you can have so much fun with this. So I think this would be a home run for Mattel to kind of go totally. With the superpowers line.
This would be a line that would definitely be a great mashup. Or I mean, this is what maybe a direct translation of the figures too. Like it could go either way.
It could go either way. And then I mean, here they use cues from Masters of the Universe, obviously adding like barbarian style attributes to each of them.
Yeah, like maces and all that, and armor and all that stuff. But want to say what's up to It's Chad, who snuck in the chat. Great person to chat with. Love doing live streams and just chatting with him in general. If you haven't checked out his channel, It's Chad on YouTube. So go check him out. Hope you're having a fabulous Friday, my friend. Fake Zaro. I love that.
Cool. Good to see you. So
these make really, really nice ones.
They are, and that's why I chose the 4 that I did. But we have Batman here, and his cowl looks like it's kind of like sewn together, so it's more kind of barbarian, like kind of like homemade looking. That it's put together back in the Primal Age, or more medieval times, and of course this rough, kind of tattered cape here and loincloth. And adding a bat symbol onto this really cool chest armor and a kind of beat up shield and this really cool sword. You can have so much fun. He's even got a bat on there. They did such a great job with this line. I thought it was like super, super creative, but you can absolutely mash these up with MOTU. This could be a true mashup line.
Yeah. That figure looked really, really good, and now I'm like, now I want one.
Dude, they're super cheap. Like you can hunt them down. And it's funny because I used to see these hanging in the Target stores, and I was like, and I just would keep going.
Yeah.
And that was just a few years back. So, the great one. It's funny. He kind of like reminds me of like a rapper guy or something because he's got this like big chain.
It's Flava Flav Flash.
Flava Flav Green Lantern. So that's his little Green Lantern, and he's got like translucent armor. Translucent weapons and translucent armor, which is really cool because obviously that's a homage to Green Lantern's power ring, which brings out that translucent glow or power, and so it's like his weapons were made out of his power ring, which is a very cool homage to that. So super creative line. I'm surprised these didn't take off more. But again, I think due to the quality control issues on the Funko figures is why they were short-lived. But they actually, came up with quite a few. And I didn't put them all in this article. The Batcave is expensive.
Were all of these made into figures at some point?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They were all released. I only picked up 4 of them, but yeah, they made Lex Luthor. They made the cats. You can still get the cats. Yeah. So I'm like, those are kind of tempting too.
Yeah, actually, what how much are these roughly? Like, if you wanted to pick them up.
Okay, so it's funny because I think I found like Flash he was like super cheap on on like Amazon, it might be around 10, $12, but like I think I found him on eBay like for like $3 or $4, but then like $5 shipping and the tax. So he was
Yeah.
around $10. Superman's a little bit more expensive. He can be about $15, maybe 20 total with shipping. And then Green Lantern was around $10. And Batman probably was around that much too. They were pretty inexpensive.
Yeah.
You can still find them like on Amazon. They're probably floating around still on like Walmart. I should add some links in here, but easily found on eBay. You know,
Oh,
and
yeah.
and even when I visited Frank and Sons, I ran into a couple of them there. I think I picked up one of these at Frank's. I picked up Batman at Frank and Sons.
Oh, that's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
where, like it just looks like roaming through a booth. You're like, oh, look.
Yeah. I was like, oh, and I even saw Superman there too. And I bought him that same morning on eBay. So I'm like, he's already like, he was already being shipped. So I saw him hanging on the peg. I'm like, oh, I can't get him now. And he just came like 2 days ago.
Got it. Yeah, these figures look really good, and I'm actually not.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised now that this came out first. I mean, the Wonder Woman looks fantastic.
She does, and that you can easily see that's a Tila buck right there, right?
Yeah.
Used for her.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, with her, her lasso on her hip, and just the way that the Falcon, is on her chest armor, and also the way that
her crown,
tiara or crown just comes over her nose is like kind of more of a medieval look, right?
Yeah. I want to track down one of these Wonder Womans too. Some of the figures are, maybe a little bit more expensive, maybe in the $20-ish range because they're a little harder to find. But the main characters are pretty inexpensive, and like they did villains. This Flash he's like so cool, and he was like $3 or $4. Like
that's awesome.
I had to pay for shipping on him, but
Yeah. So do the one, so like this is Lex Luthor, right? Does he have a mace does he have a fist holding this thing, or is it just a mace?
No, it's his actual hand.
Oh, it's that. Okay.
So that was a design choice that Funko made. Would I rather have had Superman have an actual hand and holding a mace? Yes, of course. But Amazon has them, as Ben says. But they decided to make it like here's his power punch, and he's got a mace for a fist. But that's okay. He still looks cool. I mean, this one, he looks really awesome, and then the gold on him, the paint looks amazing. It's like shiny gold, and he's got his nice S with kind of the chest armor wrapping around it. Yeah,
that's very cool. Wanted to plus in Randall's comment. Would love to see GI Joe variations in MOTU style. It's funny because I'm looking up. Actually, Mega Customs did. Oh
wow.
Did this. He actually just posted these within the last week. I just have to figure out his name on Instagram is hard to find. But let me.
That'd be cool. I like none of this says never lose the weapons. That's right, because it's built into his hand.
Here I found his Instagram feed. Here's these actually look really good too. Snake Eyes in 5.5 in this scale.
He does look great. Wow, look at that. That's awesome. That is very cool, actually.
Who else is in here? Destro. I mean,
oh wow,
these look great. Like I could totally see these. That would mean that Mattel and Hasbro would have to play nice with each other.
That's the problem there. I think why we didn't go with like a a GI Joe or something like that, because that belongs to Hasbro, so that'd be a difficult property. So another fun fact here that Carlos is giving us. So Race O'Brien, the designer behind Savage World and Primal Age, was a bit early and a victim of Funko's lousy execution. His idea was multiple IPs run through the 5.5 Barbarian filter. I mean, they did such an amazing job. It's such a fun line. And again, the execution of some of the quality control. I think the first few batches that were shipped out had like the, kind of the breakage issues. And then at some point they probably changed factories or something. And then it wasn't a problem anymore. So I was always hoping whatever I bought that I was very careful when I was opening the packages. I'm like, I hope it's like from the later batch.
Oh yeah. Jeez. That would suck. I'm guessing these are made like, are these probably made out of the similar plastic that the pops are made out of then?
No, they're actual plastic figures. They're different than the pops. But you know,
Oh, like
I think it was
like
just something with the
plastic
leg
wise.
construction.
Yeah.
Yeah, the plastic
I
is
mean,
different.
oh, plastic is different. Were they hollow like when they were broken, or was it a solid
No,
plastic?
it was a choice of the engineering and how the joint was put together
Oh,
for the
got it.
leg joint.
I see.
Um, so they changed that because I think whatever maybe the peg was like on the Thundercats, the pegs were like so thin, and as soon as you just move the leg, it just snapped off.
Ah,
And so thin and like brittle plastic, right? Like
that's not,
probably too hard. Yeah,
that is not good.
yeah.
What is it? The last two characters here, is that Bizarro and the Joker?
Mhm. Yep, Cesaro and the Joker.
That's so cool.
Exactly right. I know.
It's funny.
So Bizarro, funny enough, is the opposite of Superman, right? So he's literally the opposite of Superman, with the spike mace on his right hand, and holding the shield on the
Oh
left.
yeah, you're right.
And yeah, that's what the Bizarro. So they flipped the opposite of that one.
That's very cool. Yeah, actually, I do remember watching the Superpowers cartoon, and I think Bizarro was my favorite character in that.
Yeah,
Like
that's
that's
so
the
cool.
only one that sticks out in my head because he was
I'm
just like,
still begging, like McFarlane. They did that dang drawing board thing. Make us a Legion of Doom. Come on, if
yeah,
you're gonna do a crowdfund project, make it a freaking Legion of Doom. If Todd, if you're watching, please.
that's awesome. Sectars
Yeah.
and MOTU would be an amazing mashup, just because I think the scale that the Sectars were, they still had that like muscular build.
Beefy.
So I think that
Mhm.
would lend themselves really well.
That would go really well.
Yes.
Yeah.
shirt tails and MOTU. What the
There's so many
like
things you can do.
so many things. I wanted to, so this is where I got the idea that like if you do any of these mashups
Mhm.
with any of these figures and any of these lines, they actually look fine. Like
Yeah.
these are images that Mr. Home Arcade has, and Mr. Home Arcade has an insane amount of customs that he's either done or commissioned. Like I think he just put out a video called like 271 customs or something like that, and he showed off
Wow.
all of the 271 customs, which is amazing. But these are images that he put together. Like there's Superman, Green Lantern, I forget what his name is, Aquaman.
Oh, Cyborg. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you,
And
Cyborg.
Martian Manhunter. Yeah.
Black Adam. I mean, there's all this. Is that Hawkeye or Hawkman? Sorry, like
Hawkman,
mixing
yeah. But
mixing Marvel.
he's kind of like a more, maybe kind of comic booky looking version of him. And so's the Aquaman. Not my favorites. They're not like the classic superpowers version. They're like more the modernized.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. Yeah, they're more of the what I would look at as the more modern design. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
And then here's some just up close shots of, is that Black Manta?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
There's Black Manta in the middle. You're doing good.
Doing all right. Skating by it, getting my teeth.
That's great.
Yeah, and then just some others like from more DC stuff, just different variations of the Joker. There's a penguin in there, and just a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah, and they're starting to take stuff from different eras of DC characters, because they're getting into like the Batman Adventures, or like Batman '89 movie, or you can go on and pull out different eras of DC besides just superpowers. I think starting with superpowers is a great place, because it's like so 1980s, and it crosses the world with He-Man at the same time when it came out. And this is Origins after all, right? Because we're capturing that classic look. But the form factor lends its way to all of these things. They all look great.
Yeah, they all look awesome. Yeah, I was just copying and pasting some of the comments from Instagram when folks were like, oh, okay, if they didn't vote for the 3 that were up there and clicked other,
Mhm.
they could say what they need. So like there's Brave Star,
Please don't
Conan.
say Brave Star. Brave Star.
Yeah.
He's gonna come right again. Brave Star. I just picked up a 30-30 who need a little bit of love, but it's back on.
There you go. Yeah, for Spawn, Motu Orso, it's funny. I think somebody else threw this in the chat too. Motu Origins and Care Bears, or My Little Pony, or Garbage
Oh
Pail.
my god.
Like, I'm
Angry
convinced
Bears.
that you can definitely do that now. Maybe
Yeah.
not with My Little Pony. I don't know. They'd have to be like.
I mean, I've seen them in like Ghostbusters outfits and stuff like that. Yeah.
ThunderCats, yes, Brave Stars, Sectars. Let's see, Alejandro Valdez, who I think might be in the chat still. I don't know. Brave Star, Black Star, Silverhawks, DC, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Captain Power would be awesome.
I have some
Thundar the Barbarian. I have vague recollections of watching Thundar the Barbarian. So,
yeah, these are all really great ideas.
They're awesome ideas. And then I was also pulling up the community page too. Somebody misses the WW Masters of the WW Universe, and let's see, X-Men would be awesome. Just trying to think if there's anything else. Oh yeah, Mortal Kombat would be fun. Like same with Street Fighter, right? And we actually, for our special live stream with our addicts and junkies, we have some other fun like crossover stuff to share too. So Mortal Kombat is definitely in one of those as well. So
yeah,
that would be fun.
I'll be back in a second. I'm not leaving yet.
All right, yeah, no worries.
Some props for another idea.
Oh, cool. Let's see, Brave Star, Silverhawks, Black Star. Yeah, a lot of similar ideas too. So they're kind of just like kind of coalescing into like we can probably put together like a top 10. Another one for MOTU Care Bears. I love it.
I actually had a really great idea, and this isn't more of a crossover line, but it's more of bringing in a la Sunman world into the MOTU line, because Sunman was a kind of a sister line to it. It was from Olmec Toys. It was out at the same time, and Mattel did an amazing job bringing in that whole world of Sunman. So why can't we do the same thing with the Remco characters from like Warriors of the Kingdom, the Warrior Beast. So like you've got all of these guys. So there's Warlord and Hercules. Like these could be really cool MOTU characters. And then they also have like the Pirates of the Galaxy, which are very cool. Or sorry, because I'm holding so many in my hand. And then they've got like the classic Warrior Beasts. There's different geckos and stuff like that. But like bringing in that established line, this was like an homage. Like all these guys were an homage to Masters of the Universe at the time, but they have now quite a bit of a following. These are actually pretty expensive now to get on the aftermarket by MOTU collectors. They're kind of beloved characters now that are gaining more popularity, because I think a lot of us, you can go off full mode now. A lot of us who have our collections already completed for our vintage MOTU are sort of looking for something else. That's kind of what drove me to start collecting these guys. And so, I'm starting to learn like the characters, but to get kind of like a sister line brought into MOTU, like Sunman was, and bring in that whole like Remco world of characters would be actually a really neat like offshoot to do with MOTU.
That would be really
great.
Cool. Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be super cool.
This guy by himself is like over $100 and something.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
They're expensive. Yeah, they're hard to get. They're really hard to get in good condition. But the Remco figures are getting a lot of popularity. I'd love to see them brought into MOTU. Origins.
That'd be really cool. Yeah, I mean, all of these concepts, and I mean, even with just our community voting, it just shows that like MOTU can extend to pretty much almost anything. I mean, if people are recommending Care Bears and the Golden Girls, like why not, right? You know what? And also too, like people can't forget. Like I know that a lot of people were leaving comments like, let's finish out the Origins line. This is going to help finish out the Origins lines, people. So like if these crossovers are successful, anything that is crossed over with Masters goes into the pot that's going to finish Origins. So we just got to be patient.
Yeah. We'll get it, and then in the meantime, we're getting more toys.
Yes.
The last thing you want to do is like finish out Origins, and then we're like, oh well, now we're done with all the characters. Now what? So if we do it slowly, we'll get our fix of our vintage figures, but then we're getting new stuff, cool stuff in between. It'll be fine.
Yes. Awesome.
This
is there what? Tell my That's so funny.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Is any news that you want to cover off on before we hop over to the after party, or?
No, I don't think there was. Oh, yes, there was one big piece of news this morning. I just got super excited over, which was Target's Summer Geek Out launched today. They're doing every Friday for the next 4 or 5 more weeks, and lo and behold, and because I did not sleep well, I slept in a little later this morning. And Michael, you were so nice enough to cover this way early in the AM. Freaking Super 7 surprised us with recarded Monkey and the new sculpt for the classic looking Lion-O on freaking retro card backs. For only $35. And I was just like so gobsmacked when I saw that. I got so excited. And when I clicked on it, it was before 8 o'clock in the morning. It already sold out. I was so bummed all day. And then at one point during the day, it popped back up online and I was able to order it. It's now sold out again. But these are so cool. And what a great idea for Super 7 to kind of reuse their molds. Now, I think this probably uses the buck of the Light Up Eyes Lion-O. There's a video there. So Brian says this is a new buck. And it just comes with his sword and his claw shield. But it's on a classic ThunderCats card. And if you look at the back of the card back, it's got really cool artwork on it. Just a great piece to own. And for $35, I was able to pick up 2 of them and then they sold out again. But
that's great. Well, I'm glad that you got him. I was bummed for you this morning.
I was so bummed this morning. I couldn't stop telling my husband. I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe I missed those. They're so cool. This is what I've been wanting for the ThunderCats line forever. On a retro card back. So the Monkey, and I think is just a re-release of the original version, but I still bought one to keep carded. And Brian says this is just wave 1. So there'll be more to come. And bring them on, Super 7, because I just buy them just to put on display. They look so good.
It's so funny at 4:30 in the morning, Target puts out, teasers for this stuff. And I was like, okay, it's basically a single carded Ultimates figure. And then they're calling it deluxe. And I was like, wait, it doesn't look deluxe to me, but I forget that their moniker is Ultimates, which come with everything. So yes, of course, this is a step down, which would be deluxe.
Exactly.
My 4:30 in the morning brain.
No, that's totally fine.
But
yeah. So I thought it was a neat surprise.
Yeah, it's funny. In the video, he was like at $34.99, and then when you pop over the page, they're $35.49. It was kind of funny.
Yeah.
I was chatting
to squeeze out the extra $1. That's okay.
I know. I was chatting with Commander Solo this morning, and he was like, "Okay, for that extra money, people are lose your shit now."
That's funny. But Target had a special because when I added 2 to the cart, it made them 33 something each.
Oh,
they dropped in price. I was like, okay, cool.
Buy more, save more.
Exactly.
There you go.
So that was exciting and totally out of the blue. Was not expecting it.
Yeah.
So way to go, Super 7.
Yeah, and I want to check in on the Rattler HasLab because Rob 2023 was texting me earlier and he was like, "Oh, the Rattler has probably only 300 left to go on for its, I guess, to unlock the Tyrannus." So.
Oh wow, Tyrannus! Did you hear that? we need to unlock.
Just search for this mofo, but I want to see too. Yeah, so It has 260 left to go. Interesting, and funding ends in 3 days. So that's
On your
definitely gonna.
birthday?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Shout out to Michael. It is his birthday on Monday. So we're going to give you a big early happy birthday from all of our Toy Habits crew.
Oh, thank you.
Because we won't see you on Monday.
Thank you. I'm not the big 5-0 yet, so woohoo, yay me.
Yeah, I know, right? That's good.
Like,
we're running out of runway there.
I know, right? Yeah.
We're the same age. You're 6 months older than me, so
okay.
that'll have to happen to you sooner than me.
Yeah. I'll be first.
No, you can suffer first.
Because it's funny, like Rob was like, "Are you guys gonna do a live stream counting down the Rattler?" And I was like, "I'm like, good question." So and then I like asked you, and then immediately remembered that it was my birthday that day, and I'm like, "Yeah, no."
Yeah, yeah. That's how you want to spend your birthday evening. Absolutely. Fairness, are you going to order the Rattler? I'm still on the damn proverbial fence. Oh, happy birthday to Alex.
Oh yeah. That's awesome. And yes, his name is Alejandro. So yeah, that was him in the Instagram, and he's also in the chat. So what is up, my friend?
We met in person at the Robo Toy Fest.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Good to see you, Alejandro.
Just a cool guy. Awesome. All right. Oh, we got I think that was it from us tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for all you junkies and addicts out there, stick around after this. Go to the community page. There is a link for a private live stream after party, and we're gonna talk some more crossovers and just whatever fun stuff is on your mind, and we're gonna have a good time in a special live stream for all of you. And I guess me and Baroness are sitting on the same fence together, like Charlie Brown and Linus. What are we gonna do?
We got 3 days, 1 hour, 26 minutes, and 40 seconds to decide.
Oh, yeah. Happy birthday, Michael.
Oh,
yeah.
Thanks, y'all.
Our News has new picks for cartoon MOTU Hordak. Oh, okay. Right. Well, that's cool.
We'll find where those were sourced, and we will get them on our site after our
exactly.
I'm sure nobody has sourced nobody has sourced them yet.
Nope. Well, we're gonna see all of you guys, like I said, Toy Habits crew, junkies and addicts on the other side. And for everybody else, we'll catch you guys next Friday.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, y'all. Have a good weekend.
Bye.